Okay, greetings everyone. We're now back in Shimano, or Command Modern Air Naval Operations. And this is a modification nung ginawa ko yesterday. You'd be happy to know perhaps that medyo mas realistic na yung carrier strike group natin. Well, it's not a full strike group kasi I'm still a bit concerned about the overhead for the CPU. Baka hindi kaya ng computer pag i-simulate properly pag sobrang dami ng units, no? Kasi ang command or Shimano is quite CPU intensive, no? The better your CPU, the better it can handle the simulation. And I guess may mga versions nito, yung sa professional version, maybe the ones that run off a supercomputer would be really more accurate, no, in terms of simulating all the physics. By the way, kahit na we're just looking at the map, this is not just purely stats, no? Talagang Shimano relies on real world physics for all the elements to come into play and to work properly. So we're now looking at a strike group. Ito yung strike group 5 based out of Japan. I forgot the exact naval base in Japan. So strike group 5 is, ang flagship niya is of course the aircraft carrier USS Ronald Reagan. And using the V key in Shimano, we can see the components of this strike group. So nandito yung Ticonderoga missile cruiser, the Chancellorsville CG-62. Out in front also is CG-54, yung Antietam. And clustered around the carrier is the Arleigh Burke guided missile destroyer Stetham out on front. Then on the right side we have guided missile destroyer 65 Benfold, DDG 85 McCampbell, and taking up the rear is DDG 89 Mustin. We have a tender ship and supply ship. So parang it's a trimmed down na strike group, no, headed into the West Philippine Sea. So yung scenario is like they just came into Philippine waters from Japan, no? They just crossed the Strait of Taiwan there and papasok na sila sa West Philippine Sea. And over here, just like the previous scenario, mayroong dalawang approaching na satellites, Chinese satellites in LEO, yung Yaogan 25B and Yaogan 25A. I'm not actually sure why they are in almost very similar orbits, pero eto sila, pa-approach na sila dito sa area, no? Other assets include isang E3 Sentry. I actually placed this as an experiment again to see if the E3 Sentry can actually detect the incoming missiles, no? But so far, based on my tests, nahihirapan siya. It's a hit and miss. Sometimes nade-detect, sometimes hindi. And actually, on the US side, I actually placed an SBIRS capable satellite, na yung Trumpet 2. It was very difficult for me to find a date to make sure na the Trumpet 2, itong USA 184, would be over the Asian landmass. And nakahanap ako, and the date would be April of 2020. So I was happy kasi this would actually make it work, no? Yung kanyang SBIRS capability, infrared, can actually detect launches, no, of ballistic missiles. Unfortunately, I discovered something. If you know anything about orbital mechanics or the way satellites are placed in orbit, very special kasi yung orbit nito, no? Yung USA 184 was placed in a so-called Molniya orbit. So let's load up yung example of a Molniya orbit. So ganito yung orbit ng ating American satellite. So the problem here is yung kanyang IR detectors can only work at around 2,000 nautical miles. So nagkataon na it is actually near its apogee, no? So yung lowest point niya is something like around mga around 1,000 nautical miles from the surface of the earth. Pero yung kanyang apogee, yung perigee yon, yung apogee naman niya is very far away, 35,000 kilometers out. So that means hindi na po magwo-work yung IR detectors nito to detect a launch. So dilemma, because I really want sana na ma-track all the way yung mga, to simulate na merong satellite na nakadetect ng launch. So what I did was again employ a BMEWS or a Ballistic Missile Early Warning System na kunwari newly installed in Taiwan, kasi of course the Taiwan is an ally of the US. So kunwari kalalagay lang dito ng US forces isang BMEWS that would hopefully detect the launches, no? So right now the scenario is palakating na yung ating Chinese observation satellite, so we can now switch over to the Chinese side. Kasi of course we need to launch the missiles kasi kunwari na-detect nga natin yung, we don't want that carrier force trespassing the, what is that called again, the 9-dash line, yung ating territory if we were the Chinese player here. So yeah, no, what's this? We're going to select Yaogan 25B. It doesn't matter really what we select, pero makikita nyo kasi yung orbital path. So it is gonna run through here, and our carrier strike group is somewhere here. So let's see. Let's play the scenario now. This is in real time, but I will accelerate the time kasi of course medyo mabobore lang kayo, no, sa kakahintay. Yun, may na-detect na kaagad itong Yaogan 25A. Yeah, nauna pa yung Yaogan 25A, no, to detect the vessels, although at this point hindi pa niya exactly ma-pinpoint yung exact coordinates. May general idea na siya where the strike group is, pero hindi pa siya sure. Well, hopefully with the Yaogan 25B, tutulungan siya na malocate talaga yung American fleet. They also have noticed yung E3 Sentry na detect na rin ng mga satellites, pati na rin yung early warning radar system na nasa Taiwan. So the satellites are still approaching the area. They are orbiting the Earth at about 1,000 kilometers up. So eto, nadidetect niya. I don't know kung hindi pa, nakikita niyo yung mga square. They look squished kasi ibig sabihin oblique pa yung view ng ating mga Chinese satellites. So hindi pa niya hindi pa niya talaga pinpoint yung exact location. So we will know in a while kung, kasi makikita natin yung familiar pattern ng formation ng fleet. Yep, I think yeah, we're getting there. Teka lang. Yep, I think eto na. This is the supposed pattern of the fleet. So we're going to pause the simulation for a bit and try to figure out what we're gonna be doing. So the next thing is, of course, since na-detect na natin, meaning I think na-identify na lahat kung ano yung vessels, no? Ito, alam na ng, hindi, Skunk 21 pa rin. So hindi pa talaga sure yung ating satellites kung anong vessel ito. Pero more or less nakuha na niya yung yung formation. We can check out God view. Ayan. So yan, na-detect na ng ating Chinese satellites. Ito nga pala ang Ronald Reagan na aircraft carrier. So a ripe target for the Chinese forces. We should implement the bloodied nose. What is that? The bloodied nose strategy. We're going to select all of the SSM launchers, yung mobile launch group ng Chinese, which are capable of launching 4 Dong-Feng DF-26Ds anti-ship ballistic missiles. And we're going to zoom back into the strike group, and we will teach the imperialists a lesson. So shift F1, target. Oop, automatic fire not capable. inaano pa yata, OODA loop limitation. So we need to wait for a few more seconds to see if the satellites can still track it reliably. Okay, let's increase time so that we won't have to wait long. Okay, let's see kung okay na. Shift F1 again. Select the Ronald Reagan. Ayun na. If it's green, it means we are able to fire. So 4 can fire. Allocate all weapons. Launcher 2. Allocate all weapons. Launcher 3. Allocate all weapons. Launcher 4. Launcher 5. So that's 20, no? 20 DF-26Ds are about to be launched against the USS aircraft carrier, the US aircraft carrier Ronald Reagan. Okay, let's zoom out. So now, war has been declared. Ayan. So now you can see lines are emanating from the launch, mobile launch platforms, and the missiles themselves are now headed towards the carrier group. They're now very high. Around, yeah, they're just about to enter space now. They're just about to pass the Kármán line. By the way, kaya sobrang bilis kasi I've accelerated time to 5 seconds per second, so that hindi naman masyadong matagal yung pag-aantay natin, no? Okay. So what we can do at this point is switch over to the US side so that we can observe kung nade-detect na ba nila yung incoming missiles. So switch to USA. Yep. So most likely yung ballistic missile early warning system was able to detect. Kasi like I said, even though we do have a satellite here that has IR capability, SBIRS, it's too high, no, in its Molniya orbit to be able to be effective in detecting a launch. So thank you, BMEWS. You are the savior in tracking this. Kasi with early tracking, the US vessels can appropriately react, no? So right now, battle stations na siguro. The vessels are now, as you can see, there is the word jam on top of each icon. By the way, to those who are not familiar with Shimano, baka nagtataka kayo, bakit ganito ang symbol for the boats? Well, I can actually change that. So game options, map display, I can change it to directional stylized. So if we do directional stylized, ang itsura po ng barko ay mukhang silhouette ng mga boats. In fact, the carrier also looks like a carrier as viewed from high above, no? And aircraft, like the E3 Sentry over here, also looks like an aircraft. Ayan. Mukhang aeroplano talaga yung icon. But the reason why I choose to use the symbology, kasi it's a good training, no? So let's go back to the map symbols. I'm using the NTDS NATO APP-6 symbology. Kasi ganitong klase ng symbology yung nakikita when for instance you are aboard an Aegis equipped na vessel, and yung command and control area ng vessel would have these large tactical screens, yung maps just like this, no? And the symbology that they use is very similar, no? So yung circle represents a surface vessel. Yung half of that circle na parang sa ilalim would be a submarine. By the way, apologies to Sir Leo Almazan. I think he wanted he wanted me to include submarines in the scenario, pero hindi naman kasi that hindi naman kasi involved, I think, ang submarines in this exercise or in this illustration. Kaya for the benefit of the CPU ng machine na ginagamit ko, para hindi masyadong taxing, I opted not to include submarines for the strike group. So yan na, balikan natin yung ayan na yung mga missiles. So where are they now? Yeah, this is real time and they're still flying. at an altitude of over 300 kilometers. No? They're in outer space and at speeds of over 10,000 knots. No? So very, very fast. This is they have just passed the so-called apogee of their what's this, parabola or yung ballistic path. So a suborbital flight. And now they're going to descend into the West Philippine Sea and try to attack and destroy the USS Ronald Reagan. Okay, so yeah, nag-jam, furiously attempting to jam the signals from the what's this, from the missiles. So malayo pa naman. So maybe we should accelerate time a bit kasi total hindi naman. Yeah. Yan, napakating na sila. More. Yan. Here come the missiles. Okay. Yan, so talagang in a few seconds from now, I believe we will see nag-fire na po yung ating mga, both the guided missile cruisers and the guided missile destroyers have started their missile screen, their anti-missile screen, starting off with our IM-161Cs or the SM-3s. So let's see. Let's slow down time para real time tayo ngayon. Let's observe. Yung in my experience, yung first barrage of SM-3s can handle the leading missile group. So let's see kung tatama, ha? There. So that's one down. Two down, three down. Okay. Sometimes yung AI kasi is stupid. So, minsan kailangan tulungan natin. Not that. We need. Okay, can fire. Allocate all weapons. Fire. Sige, sino pang may weapons dyan? Okay, Shift F1. Leading missiles. Hindi makafire instead. Okay, let's go back to the Mustang. See kung kaya pa. Oh, this is frantic. Ayaw ah. Shift F1. Select missiles. Ayun. 5 can fire, allocate. 28 can fire, allocate. Meron pa ba? Okay, that's good. Sige, fire. Fire everything you've got. Yes, good. Nagpa-fire pa ilang seconds na lang before impact. Kaya pa ba to? Okay, 32 can fire, manual allocation. Come on, let's do this. Kasi may isang nakalusot. Okay, let's see if kaya pa. Come on. Come on. Oh no. Parang may isang nakalusot. Come on. Ano pang, ayan, may isang REM. No, nag-fail. There! Yes! Although may incoming pa doon. Up there, medyo nahuli, dalawa pa. Let's see. Pero yung mga super lapit na kanina nag-fail eh. Yung Stethem is practically useless eh. I wonder what happened to its missile systems. Ito, meron ba? Ayun. 28 can fire, allocate. 5 can fire, allocate. Come on. Ito, may bubuga pa ba yung Chancellorsville? Hopefully. Let's try to fire on that. Ayun, 6 can fire. SM3, meron pa na iwan. Allocate. Fire. You guys should keep firing. Don't stop firing. McCampbell. Shift F1. Wala na. Hindi na kaya ng McCampbell. What about the Benfold? Kasi dalawa pang missiles yan. Ayun, 29 can fire. SM3s. Allocate. 11 can fire. Allocate. Okay, come on, guys. Keep firing. There! Only one missile to go. This is tense. There! Mission successful. Okay, we can now breathe. Everyone's about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Ayan. Hopefully may mga self-destruct capabilities itong SM3s kasi as I've said before in my earlier video, delikado to for collateral damage, no? Wow. So there. So to the fans of the US Navy has triumphed and prevailed over a major Dong-Feng DF-26D attack from Chinese forces. So nag-survive na yung ating DDG. So since wala nang threat, maybe I can command the carrier group to stand down its sensors. Let's go back to stealth mode, MCON, and proceed with our sige, panoorin natin yung formation. Look at that. This is what I like about Shimano. I directed the fleet to do that formation kasi this is one of Trevor's recommendations na ganito daw dapat yung formation ng fleet, and they will keep that formation. All of the tactics nga pala na yung formations ng mga fleets, you can apply it here. Meron pang mga concept like spin and drift, you can apply that, or a relative bearing based on the formation. All of that can be implemented in Shimano. There's only one gripe that I have, although that can be solved via Lua scripting kasi Shimano can actually support Lua. That is, vessels in Shimano unfortunately do not collide with each other. Siguro yung assumption is these guys are really competent in their job, the commanders and the sailors, that parang almost unthinkable yung each of these ships, especially ships that are together in a formation, to actually collide with each other. Pero if you want that realism, you can actually script it via the Lua interface. So if you have a little programming background and skill, you can actually improve the realism in Command or Shimano. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. Very tense and exciting yung defense ng carrier strike group. So again, till next time, if you want more, just tell me if you want more demonstrations of Command. And who knows, maybe in the future, if some of you want me to conduct a public demonstration, you can invite me, no? If you have any, if you can suggest a venue or whatever occasion it is, whether it be a formal or informal gathering. If you're interested to purchase, by the way, Shimano, it's actually a retail product. As I've said before, meron siyang professional version, meron ding, of course, yung game version, which is the one I'm using. But the professional version is only meant for governments and defense departments around the world. So that's it for now. Thank you.